Just when I thought the days of Darkseid Ray being on defense was over, CG hit us with another disgusting level 9 for the faction, but to boot, that's not even the best team on defense this season. Come check it out. What's going on, Knights of Vex, and welcome back to the best 3v3 teams of GAC for the month of October. It has been a minute since Grand Arena. I know it's only been like a week, but my god, it feels like a really barren week in Galaxy of Heroes without Grand Arena. It is the heart and soul of this game. We got to talk about the best new teams for the upcoming season. New Datacron set, new Galactic Legend, lots to talk about. If you guys haven't seen these types of videos in the past, we have 3 categories to break down each team. We have the best defensive teams, offensive teams, and a category I like to call Flex, for where you can really mix and match during the season and really put those squads on either offense and defense to trick your opponent. So that's why there's a Flex category. Also, I've been doing a new iteration with these videos where I'm listing multiple characters twice because it is a long season. It's not like it's 1 week. It's multiple weeks, multiple rounds. You got to change it up a bit. So I'm going to show you different variations of squads on the defensive and offensive list to show you guys different options. So without further ado, let's get into the brand new set and talk about the best 3v3 defensive teams. To start out the best defensive teams list, we got to talk about the most brand new Galactic Legend in the game, Pirate King Hondo Onaka. And my god, this guy is completely different from his release because of the Datacron, specifically the wordy Pirate level 6. This thing is a pain. I've been having a lot of success with it in Squad Arena, in 5v5, and 3v3. I've had numerous reports of players saying they've been having a really difficult time getting through my team. Lots of timeouts, lots of just getting completely gated. They can't get through it. So what I'm going to be recommending for Hondo in 3v3, and it's going to be a little bit different, is if you have the Omicron on OG Hondo, I think OG Hondo is going to be a massive pain for players to deal with because of his captive ability. And if you have his level 9, I think he's going to benefit even more. He's going to be very tanky. You're not going to be able to crit him, and he's going to hit very hard. So if you have the wordy level 6, he's going to be dangerous. Also, for the third, I was thinking about including a tank here, but honestly, most of the counters for Pirate King Hondo are going to be able to ignore taunt anyway. So I'd rather increase my chances with dealing massive amounts of damage. So I'm going to go all out on the damage with Pirate King Hondo. I'm recommending either SM33 if you unlocked him in Conquest. If you don't have him, then Brutus. Brutus can actually hit very hard on this team. So they're going to have a difficult time getting through them. But I think most of the counters that players are going to use are going to be able to ignore taunt. And we don't want that to happen. So might as well try to go all in on the damage. I'm recommending, for me, Pirate King Hondo, OG Hondo, and SM33 as the first defensive team I'm going to test out with Hondo. And I think it's going to be very annoying for most players. Next up. She's not going anywhere. She's not going anywhere. Probably going to be the second best team in Grand Arena this season. Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, Darkseid Ray, and the Special Forces TIE Pilot, Datacron. It is a repeat of the past, and it was very good back then. The difference is, we didn't have Darkseid Ray back then. So this is another super team. They're going to be stunning you. He's going to be hitting hard. There's going to be damage immunity. Tons of offensive gameplay and damage. Tied in with the wordy First Order level 6, they're going to start out with damage immunity. That can cause massive issues in matchups like with JML. If you can't deal damage to them, and they don't have a buff to spell right away, that could really turn the tide of battle. So, this is going to be very interesting to deal with. This is going to be the defensive team of Kylo that I'm recommending. You're going to see him later on in the list, repeated on offense, but I want to show you, this is probably going to be his best bet on defense with specifically the Special Forces TIE Pilot level 9. I think it's going to be really annoying. Not as broken as the Darkseid Raid Focus Datacron from the previous seasons, but still very solid. So highly recommending that. Next up, we got to talk about a pair of a combo. And Ahsoka Tano, guys, you guys have seen my videos. If you've watched me in the past, I have a lot of opinions on this GL. She is almost utterly useless on offense and pretty much useless without Ezra. I cannot imagine setting her without Ezra without giving up a free GL on, she's going to get demolished. So what I'm recommending for you guys is that Ahsoka Tano is very easily countered by a Great Mother's team. If you want to shut that down, you want to throw in Ezra and also add a 25% Terminator light side cron, or even the new set, 20% Terminator on the weakest light side ally. If you can do that, Hoi Yang I'm recommending because Ahsoka Tano is able to get to ultimate really fast if Hoi Yang is on the team. So if Hoi Yang goes first, he's the weakest on the team. He gets 60% turn meter. He's going to outrun most Great Mother squads. That could shut down the counter as well, and Ezra is just added insurance. Ahsoka on defense without Ezra is really not that good. But if you were going to move Ezra to someone like Rey, I'm going to recommend adding Wat Tambor. And Wat Tambor is not necessarily going to make her indestructible, but it will shut down a number of other counters that you might use, like Bo-Katan. Unless you're using the Rolocron, that's not going to be that easy. So Wat Tambor will definitely close certain counters, but will open the door for some others. Ahsoka Tano is just not the best defensive GL in the moment without Ezra, but she has no real purpose on offense besides maybe getting a solo on Grievous. I just don't think she's that good on offense, so I'm recommending her no matter what on defense, either with Ezra or Wat Tambor. Which is going to lead us into the next combo, and this is going to be something we change up throughout the season. Rey, Ben, and Ezra Bridger Exile. There's an argument to be made that Ezra's true home is with Rey. He's very solid with Rey, can shut down a number of counters. It makes her even more annoying than she already is. So you tie that with the underlined force user, the Wardy 1 level 3, the light side evasion up buffs level, or the Wardy underlined force user 6, and the evasion up, health steal up level 3 for light side. He already has a massive amount of evasion. You don't want to deal with a Ezra with evasion up. That is a pain in the butt. So be on the lookout for this. If you guys don't have Ahsoka unlocked, do not worry. If you have Ezra, slot her in with Rey. Indestructible, very tough team. If you guys don't want Ahsoka to be completely useless and you want to still set Rey on defense, I think for this season specifically, I like Cal because of the level 6, the Wardy 1. Cal applies a bunch of debuffs. He provides a bunch of buffs to your team as well with his protection up. He's got a middle ability that grants a bunch of buffs. His second ability grants a bunch of buffs. So you're going to be increasing your max health and lowering the enemy's max health. It's a very good combination with that level 6, and it could make Rey pretty annoying to deal with all her ramping offense, or her ramping max health, excuse me. The problem is that it could be countered by Starkiller, but I have lost it in the past. It's not a guarantee, so be on the lookout for it. And also, Rey has a very good level 9 this season. She's going to be ulting a lot, so that could definitely shut down that counter as well. So get ready to see big things from Rey, as always, on defense. Next up, I want to talk about a team that was very successful for me last season. I like using Savage lead with the Scav Rey level 9 and Starkiller. So if you don't feel like using Starkiller on offense with your underlined force user team, you want to slot them in on defense. This team is very good. You cannot take it out with a weak team, so you're going to have to require like a Traya or something a little bit more powerful to deal with it, because every time Savage does a basic, Starkiller is going to assist, and that's a lot of damage. And Scav Rey's level 9, you already know, can hit like an absolute truck. So expect big things from this team on defense again this season. Next up, Saw Gerrera. And yes, I understand that Saw Gerrera without the Wampa, without the Rolo level 9 can be Wampa soloed. But at the same token, Wampa solo is going to take out a majority of 3v3 teams. It's the whole point is that what team am I going to set that I want them to use the Wampa solo? So you have many different options. If you want to throw in the Rolocron on defense, works very well with Saw, but also you could throw in a bunch of other really good armor pen cron stats or turn meter gains. Still very good for that team. Yes, if your opponent uses Wampa on this team, that's technically a win for you because Wampa could take out GLs as well. So Saw Gerrera is always going to be a very strong defensive team. Next up, we got to talk about Resistance, and they have the Datacron set from last season. Still very strong. I don't like replacing Resistance hero Finn with Rose. I think he's a great facilitator of the Terminator and the Inspire. I think it's very good for that team. So I'm not going to recommend throwing in Rose in there, even though she has the level 9. I think that benefits more for you in 3 and 5v5. But for now, I think this is still a strong team with the Terminator level 3 in the beginning and the Stun level 6. Still very annoying to deal with. You cannot underestimate it. Now we got to talk about Tuskens, and Tuskens are always going to be a solid 3v3 team. Are they as good as they were in the past? Absolutely not. But still, I have lost Grand Arenas to Tuskens by just either underestimating them or my counters don't work. They're still very annoying. You got to bring in the right specific squads to get rid of both the Spawn and Tusken Raider at the end. And this could be surprising. This could get you many holds if you don't have the right team. So even though they're not as good as they were, still solid even in Kyber 1. Now we got to talk about Trench, and what I'm recommending for Trench is if I want to set my Ahsoka Tano with Wat, I'm going to be setting Trench with his Focus Datacron with Count Dooku and Jango Fett. Now, Count Dooku is going to be gaining a bunch of bonus turns when they're stuns. Trench has a stun on a basic if they have shock. Jango is going to be assisting after each ability is used by your ally, which means he's going to hit very hard. So, very good Focus Datacron, one of the best of the new set. I have it ranked second. So, if you don't use Watt, I think Jango and Count Dooku are going to be your best bet because Jango is going to assist and Dooku is going to be getting a bunch of bonus turns and they're going to hit very hard. So, if you don't feel like using Watt Tambor with Ahsoka, probably replace Jango with Count Dooku. The stun on the bonus stun is just way too important. So, that's going to be a solid team. Now, we're going to talk about the next pair of a combo and I'm going to say Master Mace. You could split this team up into two to make two decent teams. Very easily countered by Sith. That is unfortunate for Mace, but if you're pulling Sith from your opponent, I guess that's a win for you. So, Malgus and Traya, that's the goal. You want to pull those teams from them. But I'm recommending Master Mace, Step of Balaba, and Ayla Secura as one team. Then we got Keller and Beck, Jocasta Nu, and Temple Guard as another one. Temple Guard's Omicron is very powerful in 3v3. You're pretty much putting a character not in play for like 2 turns until he takes 2 turns. It's very strong. I have actually been very tilted by it in the past by a certain level 6 from the previous sets. Don't have to deal with it this set, but still a very solid team. Then we gotta talk about the Kicks Focus Datacron, and this is a bunch of different options you can use. I was just thinking Brutus because I wanted some damage, but if you have the Focus Datacron, it's not the best overpowered team, but it's a good filler team to throw in Kyber 1. We do also have a Pirate Kron as well, so if you wanted to do the damage reduction level 3 or level 6, that could probably be pretty annoying for some opponents. Again, not indestructible, but more annoying than anything. I like having Kicks for the revive, and he's got his Focus Datacron, and Brutus for a little bit of the damage if you're not going to use him with your Hondo. Now, this one's going to be pretty fun. I think Hux is going to make a comeback on defense because we have a First Order Datacron set, and I just applied the Omicron on my First Order TIE Pilot today, specifically for this team. I want to see how it performs, so I'm running Hux, Sith Trooper, and First Order TIE Pilot. They're going to be gaining a bunch of speed, amplified damage, amplified max health, and with the level 6 and the high armor pen stats, I think this team can perform very well on defense and surprise a lot of opponents, so really looking forward to it, and I hope they get a bunch of holds. Now, this one is going to be a little bit iffy, because in my opinion, the Jawa Focus Datacron is more for the stats than the abilities, and that's why I ranked it 4th, because the stats are phenomenal, very good, but I want to get a Focus Datacron to have the fun character interactions, but that doesn't mean the Focus Datacron is bad. The stats are the winner, but maybe this can perform somewhat decent in 3v3. We don't know. The map is bigger, so in 5v5, I don't think it's going to cut it at all, but 3v3, we have a big map. It makes your opponent have to question some decisions on certain counters, so let's see if the Jawas can perform in 3v3. That's the team I'm going to recommend. Nebbit, Scavenger, and Engineer, all aligned with the thermals and the Datacrons and the stats. I think that's going to be a dark horse of a team, maybe. Now we got to talk about Iden, and Iden has some Focus Datacron as well, and honestly, she's going to be pretty annoying because she's going to have, like, permanent taunt. So, will Wampa get through it? Maybe. I mean, wait, maybe. Wampa's going to be able to get through a lot this season, but still, if you don't bring in the right counter, you're probably going to have to use Rogue One against it, but Iden probably going to make a comeback on defense this season. She's got a Focus Datacron, so do not underestimate it. Then we got to talk about Captain Enoch, and I'm moving this back onto defense instead of flex because this team actually surprised me last season. Night Trooper's Datacron is very, very good, and especially paired with Enoch, you can't really get a lot of crits. I tried CLS against it and failed multiple times. I think I failed twice. With CLS against the Captain Enoch team, it was not easy. Not easy by any means. So, I think Enoch on defense is going to surprise some opponents, and you cannot bring in the counters lightly. I can guarantee you that. And the last team I'm going to recommend is, I'm bringing him back on defense. I think the clones with Captain Rex are still a very solid team in Kyber 1. They require a very decent counter. It's another one of those teams you just cannot underestimate. You have to bring in something solid. So, Rex is going to be annihilating a bunch of people. Captain Rex is going to be applying a bunch of tenacity down in days. And 5 is going to be that annoying tank that's constantly healing. So, I think clones will also be very strong this season. Even though there's no more clone set, expect them to be pretty pesky. So, that is going to be the defensive list, guys. We're going to quickly go over the offensive list. Time to talk about the offensive list. And to start out, Leia, guys. Leia is just way too powerful on offense. She is just the best GL in the game by all facets, and she's like literally a get me out of jail free card. She could take out anything, almost anything besides maybe Kylo, but very, very good at taking out Ahsoka, Ezra, Rey, a number of different squads. I'm definitely going to be using Leia on offense this season. She's also susceptible to Wampa solo, so we don't want that to happen. So Leia, 100% on offense. Next up, we got to talk about Supreme Leader Kylo Ren and his other variants. So if you guys are unlucky like me, who haven't gotten the Special Forces Type Holocron as of this video recording, I don't feel like placing him on defense without that. I think the Kylo Ren level 9 is more an offensive tool. So he can take out a lot on offense as well. He might be the go-to to take out Pirate King Hondo. So I think that he's going to be valuable on offense with his level 9. But the Special Forces TIE Pilot is going to be way too strong on defense to pass up. But I do think the level 9 is very good. You can ignore Taunt. You get a bunch of different stats. This will probably be the go-to for Pirate King Hondo in my personal opinion. We're going to have to wait and see. But that's the team I'm recommending for offense. Now let's talk about the pair. This is going to be like 3. We have the Rule of 2 with Bane and Sith Eternal, which can take out a very overpowered team. And then we can have them split, which is what I preferred. So you have your Bane, your Sith Empire Trooper, which I prefer the tank, like the pre-taunting stuff. And then Sith Eternal on his own, he's like a solo machine. So he's very good at taking out a bunch of stuff and getting high banners because he's got protection recovery on his middle special. So those are the 3 options. I don't recommend Sith Eternal on defense. He's way too weak. There's no defensive stats anymore, so no defense is going to save him. But yeah, those are the teams I'm recommending for offense. Obviously, I think they're always going to be on offense for the rest of Grand Arena unless something drastically changes. How can we not talk about Wampa? I highly underestimated his Datacron. He is one of the best of the previous set, and he's going to be a solo machine. He could take out Jabba if they don't have a certain Datacron. He could take out Leia, take out a number of really strong teams. It's going to be impossible to set a full board without one team being Wampa soloed. It's just the way it is. So Wampa, 100% on offense. His focus Datacron is game-changing. Now I want to include here specifically Jedi Master Kenobi, and I really think that without a certain Datacron, he's just not that good on defense because Baylan will walk all over him. So Kenobi, going to be really good with the Ufu Anti-Revive. I'm pretty sure there's a Ufu Anti-Revive. If I'm wrong, please let me know. But I thought I saw that there was an Ufu Anti-Revive Cron. That's going to be very good with Commander Ahsoka Tano because she has a unaligned Force User tag. I'm going to double check after. I'm pretty sure there is. I don't think I'd make that up, but I will find out. But I think regardless, this team is going to be used on offense. If you're going against the Jabba and that there is an Anti-Revive 6, she'll be able to just not get him to revive. So thought I'd throw that in there, but for the most part, Kenobi's going to be an offensive tool this season. Next up, JML. JML is back on offense. I don't even think he was really meant for defense last season. There was a Hermit Yoda-focused Datacron, but probably going to use him against certain variations of Kylo. He's good at taking out Baylan in 3v3 as well. If you don't feel like using Hermit Yoda, you can throw in your Jedi Knight Cal Kestis just for extra insurance. But Hermit Yoda is pretty good for the banner recovery, and it's a very solid team, especially on offense. Not that good on defense. Next up, Vegito. And I think Vegito is going to be making some big gains this season. We have a Seer level 9. We have an Unaligned Force User level 6. And we have a lot of Armor Pen. And these guys love Armor Pen. It's going to be a great season for Malicos, my boy. One of my favorite characters in this game. My goal is to get him to work against Pirate King Hondo Onaka. They have great anti-revive synergy in their kits with Malicos is unique. And Pirate King Hondo Onaka needs those revives for that team to last and be durable. So I really hope that Vegito can pull it off this season. I have big expectations for them. Love them. Next up, Bo-Katan. And we have to talk about Bo because she literally is able to take out Lord Vader with that Rolo Datacron. The banner recovery is not good in 3v3, but at this point, having an option for Lord Vader that's not Leia or Vegito is a great option to have. I'm probably, for the most part, if I see a Lord Vader on defense, the Rolocron is going to be my go-to for it. Unless I change it up during the season and throw my Rolocron on defense. That's my current goal for this team. Very big stuff on offense. Then we can talk about Night Sisters, and Night Sisters, obviously, I always include because it might be this variation. Yeah, I think you have to throw in Asajj Ventress. Actually, I need to change that, but you could take out Jabba. I like throwing in Doc in there because of the revives if you need it. They have good banner recovery. We have a Night Sister level 6, so I do like Night Sisters on offense still. DTMG is good at taking out Grievous squad, so I'm going to include the standard DTMG team here. If you wanted to use Scout Trooper with Iden, you could throw in Death Trooper or something like that. But I do like including them on the list because they can have a purpose in Kyber 1, specifically for taking out Grievous. Next up, Gungans. I don't think Gungans are going to have that much of a use on defense. They're very easily countered in 3v3. This actually shouldn't have Tarpals, so I'm going to fix that right now with you guys. I'm going to be recommending the tank, which is Phalanx. That's probably from previous season. You're going to want the tank. That's what you're going to want to have in 3v3. You could probably take out Separatists. Hopefully can still pull it off on Trench. That's the goal. We don't know. But I think they're going to be better on offense this season. And to wrap up the offensive list, we got to talk about Afra. Obviously, she doesn't have her Focus Datacron anymore. She's pretty good in 3v3 against certain squads. The banner recovery is not crazy, but I just applied 2 more Omicrons to her, so she might be doing some big things. We're going to have to see. And if you wanted to, you could throw the Shorty Datacron on her, and the droids get a bunch of buffs from that. So, fun to play around with. I was able to beat Jabba previous season, so Afra, pretty good. Pretty good, not going to lie. So, that's going to be the offensive list, guys. Now going to get into the flex category. Okay, flex time. And to start the flex list, we got to talk about Lord Vader. And normally, I would put him on defense. I would put him straight in the defensive category. But with Bo-Katan available, with the Rolocron, that could drastically change things. So I'm putting him more in a flex option. If you don't want your brand new Lord Vader with his new clones to get taken out by Bo-Katan, you're going to want him to put him on offense. But if your opponent puts the Rolocron on defense or has different plans, he doesn't have that many counters. He's very tough to take out. So, Lord Vader, very good team. Going to be used no matter what. Next up, we have Jabba, and he's in the flex because on defense, I think he's only going to be put on defense if you have the Shorty Datacron. If you don't put that, I think Wampa's going to eat this team up for breakfast, and we don't want that to happen. That is not good value for you. So, personally, if you're going to set Jabba on defense, put the Shorty Cron. It'll increase your chances against Wampa because of that extra potency that's going to shut him down. And the crit avoidance is very nice as well. Standard Jabba team, very tough to deal with. Shorty Datacron, always. Queen Amidala. The stock is definitely going down from last season, but that doesn't mean the team is bad. The support Cron will be greatly missed. It was so much fun to use. It was amazing, but there's an Armor Pen Cron stat for the new set. Very good for Padawan Obi-Wan. There's also the Rolocron you can use with this team. I'm going to try to see if this could work against some race squads. I know it could be risky, but I do want to see if Queen Amidala can still pull it off on Rey, even without the support Cron. I'm sure it can. It's just not going to be as easy. So Queen Amidala, very good on offense, but also solid in the flex. Love this team. Now, Radis Focus Datacron, and I ranked this one pretty high. I ranked it high because I think you could pull off some crazy stuff on offense, and it can be pretty annoying on defense. So, I don't think Bounty Hunters are going to be able to pull it off. I really don't. They're going to be, hit with turn meter removal. If they remove turn meter off K2SO, they got to get through K2SO first to get to Radis. It's not going to be easy to get taken out. So, on defense, it's viable, but on offense, you could probably cheese out some crazy interaction. If they're targeting Radis the whole time, the whole team's going to live. So, maybe they could take out Reva. I'm going to be trying to do that. Maybe if you put the death mark on Radis and they only focus Radis, you can maybe take out Reva. Who knows? Who knows? I do think this team's going to be very good. I think the Focus Datacron is very, very solid. So, I'm including them in the flex. Next up, Balin. And Balin is in the flex category because he is a great offensive staple. Good at taking out JMK, but also could be pretty annoying on defense. You got to bring in a solid team. You got to bring in like JML or Kylo. Sometimes Great Mothers can work. It's risky. It's a very solid team. I absolutely love Balin, especially with the Marok level 9 and the Inquisitor 6. Very good team in Grand Arena, especially Kyber 1. How can we not talk about one of my favorite teams in the game? Great Mothers. Now, The reason they are in the flex is that if you end up having an opponent that makes a mistake and sets Ahsoka without the Terminatorcron and they have Ezra, well, guess what? You have a counter for Ahsoka Ezra. So I'm keeping them as an offensive staple for certain matchups, but on defense, they require certain counters. They're not that easy to beat. They have a Night Sister Datacron set. The defense to offense ramps up that damage even more in the beginning. So, Great Mothers. Solid, solid, solid. Bad Batch. Now, the Bad Batch are in a weird spot in 3v3. They definitely need the full team to function properly, but that doesn't mean they're necessarily bad. I like throwing them in on defense as like a little filler team. If I'm going to use them on offense, they can take out a certain number of squads. Nothing crazy, but 3v3, they'll still have a use, but their main purpose is 5v5, but still a good filler team. Next up is General Skywalker, and if you set the clones with this, that I mentioned in the defensive list, Skywalker is able to be pretty good on a offensive cleanup or taking out Tuskens or something like that. So the team is not useless without Rex and 5s. It's not as good, but not useless. So General Skywalker, still pretty annoying, can strip banners on defense and take out pretty annoying teams on offense. Qui-Gon Jinn needs to be included. I know this team is one of the most OG teams in the game in terms of Omicrons. The team is still very solid. They can take out a number of things on offense. They are very annoying to deal with if you don't have the right counters. And Ki-Adi-Mundi and Anakin, they can hit very hard. And we have an Armor Pen set. So I love Armor Pen on this team. They're going to hit very hard. So I like them even in Kyber 1. Next is going to be Traya. And how can we not talk about Traya? So if you don't feel like using Star Killer with that Stick Ray squad, stick to your regular Traya. Very annoying on defense because it requires your opponent to think of something. They have to use something big. You cannot use a cheap counter on Traya. It's just not going to work out for you. Most likely going to be use Sith Eternal to solo it. But even on offense, they are so good. I mean, how can you not love Traya and Savage? It's a great combo. Next up is going to be a combination of 3. So I'm going to show you the standard Malgus squad, which is probably your best Sith Empire team you can use. Solid on defense, but also very good on offense. They can take out a number of different squads. If you use Darth Revan with the Omicron Zalbar and Mission, then you can use Bastila, Sean Fallen, and Malik. So that's why I'm showing you all 3 options here. But wherever you guys want to do throughout the season, you have different options like this. CLS needs to be talked about because he has a level 9 ability, and I remember it being a huge pain in the past. Obviously, the whole team doesn't benefit from the UFU level 6, but they will benefit from the light side level 3. So if they have that extra turn meter, that's very good for them. If they have the buffs on a special, it's going to be very annoying to deal with that evasion. So CLS will make a comeback on defense, but it can also take out a number of squads on offense, like a Star Killer team. An OG Star Killer team CLS can take out. So I do like CLS this season. Grievous. We got to talk about Grievous. And Grievous with Stap, specifically, if you don't have Stap Omicron, do not set it. With Magna Guard, I usually do B1, but now I'm throwing in Magna Guard because I do like that extra tank in there, and having them under stealth in the beginning I think is pretty good. So even on offense or defense, they're pretty solid. Tarkin. Now Tarkin, I know, was disappointing because he could be taken out by Sidious when he was first released, like a Sidious solo, but even on defense, I think he's going to have somewhat of a purpose. Yes, he could be taken out by Palpatine, Mara Jade, and Thrawn. I understand that sucks, but maybe if they have a high damage cron, they get blown up like that. But on offense, they're very good at taking out Tuskens, so Tuskens can be easily taken out by Tarkin. And I think it's still a solid team. Not game-breaking, but still solid, even in Kyber 1. I will be using them. And the last team I'm recommending in the flex category is going to be Mandalorians, because they are pretty annoying to deal with. If you don't bring in the right squad, they can ramp up out of their mind and just get completely annihilated by true damage. And on offense, you can manipulate it even more. Not the best banner recovery, in all honesty. And their stock is going down because we don't have a Mandalorian level 6 or level 9 anymore. But still, even in Kyber 1, a very good team. So guys, that is going to wrap up the best 3v3 teams for the month of October. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please let me know if I got anything wrong, and share your favorite teams for the season. What teams are you going to use from this list, and what teams did I not get right? So please let me know in the comment section down below. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like, comment down below, and if you're not already, subscribe to the channel to become a Knight of X. And I'll see you guys in Grand Arena. May the Force be with you all.